Q and Review, celebrating 40 years of audio production, welcomes you to this week's edition of the Glasgow Times Sports Podcast, recorded from our studio in the Bishopbriggs Media Centre and by our volunteers working from home. Keep up to date with Q and Review news via our Facebook, X, formerly known as Twitter, or Instagram at Q and Review. That's @CUEANDREVIEW, or get in touch with us directly by emailing information@qandreview.com. That's INFORMATION @CUEANDREVIEW.com, or by calling us on 0141 772 3979. Please like and share our podcast and give us constructive feedback.
Evening Times Sport, April 29. Chris Boyd offers Rangers reality check on Mikey Moore. Report by Blair Meikle. With Rangers closing in on the loan signing of Tottenham's Mikey Moore, Chris Boyd has tempered expectations over what he feels is a risky move. The Ibrox club are front-runners to land the highly rated 17-year-old winger and get him on loan for the season, ahead of clubs in the English Championship. Moore is keen to take on the challenge of heading to Glasgow, and it is a deal that is expected to be completed even if there is work still to do. It is one that is creating some excitement, but Boyd has offered some realism. The former Rangers striker reckons the pressures of moving on loan to either half of the old firm makes it very different to heading out further down the food chain in England, which tends to be the norm for young players down south. He said, "Moore's a young boy who will be looking for an opportunity to kick on, but there's a little bit of a risk attached to a first loan move. He's shown in any opportunities he's had at Tottenham that he has a chance, but it can be difficult because a lot of Premier League players in England who go out on loan go to a level where they've got time to adapt, whether it's the Championship or other teams who don't have to play under the same pressure as Rangers and Celtic have." Russell Martin has repeatedly vowed that his squad will look different by the time the transfer window closes, and you get the feeling there is plenty movement still to be done. That includes out of the way and last season's two main strikers, Cyril Dessers and Hamza Egaman. They could both be on the way out with interest in their services from the continent. Boyd would like to see that situation resolved quickly, given it is one of the most important areas of the team. He insisted the Cyril Dessers and Hamza Egaman situation needs to be addressed one way or another. Everybody needs clarity on that pretty quickly. The league starts on Saturday, and your two most important players on the pitch are your goalkeeper and your number 9. Rangers are no further forward as to who their number 9 is. The top goalscorer from last season is still being linked with moves away. He's not played a lot of football, and he's still got a level of fitness to get to. For me, there's still no guarantee who's going to be that number 9 for Rangers. If Mikey Moore is to come in, it's a big ask for him to come in and be Rangers' number 9 and lead the attack. But Russell Martin will say he does need reinforcements in the forward area. Martin's first competitive game brought a positive result, beating Panathinaikos 2-0 in Champions League qualifying. but his team were not fully convincing and had the help of a red card for a visiting defender. Boyd reckons there is plenty of work to be done to get to where the new manager wants to be, especially with the expansive style of play he is attempting to implement. And he added, if you go on last week's performance against Panathinaikos, there's still a bit of work to be done for Rangers. With Russell Martin coming in and implementing a new style, it's not going to be fixed overnight, and there's no doubt there were going to be some teething problems, and that's going to be the case for a number of weeks. When you're coming in and you want to implement the style of play that he wants, you are going to make mistakes. There's going to be scary moments within the games. Report by Blair Meikle. Evening Times Sport, July 29. Hugh Jones on emotional roller coaster ahead of Lions win. Hugh Jones admitted he had been riding an emotional roller coaster, culminating in the British and Irish Lions clinching a series victory over Australia. Andy Farrell's men have returned to Sydney, intent on becoming the first Lions team to complete a test whitewash since the 1927 visit to Argentina, an aspiration made possible by Saturday's gripping 29-26 triumph in Melbourne. Jones was destined to miss one of the greatest matches in the tour's storied history, after initially being left out of the starting 15, despite having impressed in the Suncor Stadium opener. But having been dropped for Gary Ringrose, he was reinstated at outside centre when the Ireland star self-reported a return of the concussion symptoms that had forced him to miss the first test. Said Jones, "It was a pretty mental week. I had the initial disappointment of not being in the squad on the Tuesday. I had a chat with Andy and I was gutted. I got over that and was ready to get behind the boys. And then on Thursday we trained and Gary, to be fair to him, said his head just wasn't right. I think he may have got a knock in the session and went to the doctor. That's brave, and pulling yourself out as well. It was at the end of training. I had no idea that he was struggling. I chatted to Gary afterwards and he was emotional. It's one of those, you think I'll be all right, but if it's bad, it's bad. But like people have said, it's just a game. Your head's very important. You only get one brain and all that. If he felt the need to say that he was struggling, then fair play to him. I just hope that he gets over it very quickly. I was gutted for him, because he deserved to play, and I know he would have been unbelievable. Sometimes that's rugby and that's sport. So I got a nod after that session. I was ready to step in, and luckily I'd run some of the plays on Tuesday, so I was ready to go and get the job done. Jones played a key part in the Lions' comeback from 18 points down, after showing his strength to power over just before half-time. But it was Hugo Keenan's dashing finish with 51 seconds left that ignited the celebrations. Remarkably, Keenan's try was the first time the Lions had led in the second test, and Jones said, "What a game, unbelievable. We made it hard for ourselves, ill-discipline and all that, but came back at the end, and Hugo, what a finish. It was a good feeling. It's a cliché, but we never stopped believing, even at half-time. Even if we'd been further down, we still had the belief that we'd go on and win." Farrell has given his squad 2 days off to celebrate Saturday's achievement, with the players being joined by their friends and family. They resumed training on Tuesday, when the Lions will begin plotting the downfall of the Wallabies for a third successive weekend. Farrell is scheduled to name his starting 15 and bench on Thursday. Evening Times Sport, July 29. SFA ready to roll out in-stadium referee announcements. Report by Matthew Lindsay. SFA head of refereeing Willie Collum has admitted that mic'd-up match officials could start announcing to Scottish football fans why they have made major calls as early as this season if clubs agree to finance the technology needed. Collum admitted the governing body has held talks with the leading clubs in the country about introducing goal line technology and in-stadium communication systems in the future. The former FIFA referee believes that having officials personally explaining why they have awarded a penalty, shown a red card, or disallowed a goal will help to increase transparency and will be straightforward to put in place. And he said, "We have certainly been speaking to the clubs about other aspects of technology, goal line technology being one of them. We have also been speaking to the clubs about in-stadium comms. The decisions are financial. We need the clubs to make those decisions. I would have open arms to any of these. We would certainly embrace them, but we will not use a lack of something as an excuse for anything. We will do the best we can with the resources we have got. But would we embrace goal line technology? Would we embrace stadium comms? Absolutely. We are closer. We have had good discussions with the clubs. Let's take the in-stadium comms. When the referee goes to the monitor and can make an announcement, you are enhancing transparency even more. I am about that, about even more people seeing. We're also taking into account what clubs are saying and the in-stadium experience for fans. We want to support that as well. We don't think it would cost a fortune. We have already been doing a bit of work in the background, looking at costing and whatever for that. We would welcome it. We think that's doable. With goal line technology, it's doable. You can bring it in, but it would cost a substantial amount of money. It is hard for me to say how much it would cost, because you would need to look at stadium infrastructure. Say you go to Aberdeen or Motherwell. They might have two completely different tannoy systems. It would be about how fibre you need to put in, for example, so it would be crazy for me to put a ballpark figure on it. Asked how long it would take to implement if clubs did give in-stadium communication the green light, Collum said, "We would train the referees immediately." In England, they trained the referees. And it's not as simple as people think, going to the monitor and making an announcement. You've got to get the wording right, sell decisions. But we would move fast with that. If we get a green light for that, we would introduce it within a season even. I don't mean within a season, meaning next season. I mean we would be happy to introduce it in a current season. Collum, who took over from Crawford Allen as head of refereeing at the SFA last year, believes that having in-stadium announcements will help to humanise referees. And he continued, "People just see us running about a pitch on a Saturday, and they do not know us as individuals, but they love football and love refereeing. I think these things have helped humanise refereeing a bit better. But I don't ever think referees want to be celebrities. We are not the main protagonists in the game, and we don't want that. Sometimes that can be a criticism levelled at us, where we want to be the centre of attention. Nothing can be further from the truth. No referee in the country wants to be that. We want everything to be low-key and out the road. That would make sense for us. But we also want to show people who we are away from the pitch. Report by Matthew Lindsay. Evening Times Sport, July 30. Celtic closing in on Manchester City defender. Report by Ewan Payton. Celtic are closing in on the signing of Jemai Simpson-Buse. The Manchester City defender is set to join the Scottish Premiership champions on loan. Reports emerged at the start of the week suggesting the Hoops were in talks with City over a move for the 19-year-old. Now transfer guru Fabrizio Romano has provided an update on the situation, and it seems that Simpson-Buse, a centre-back, will be the next player to be announced by Celtic this summer. He wrote on X, Jemai Simpson-Buse set to join Celtic from Manchester City on loan until June 2026. Having been at Manchester City as a youth player since 2013, the defender got his first taste of senior football last season, appearing as a substitute for Pep Guardiola's side against Tottenham Hotspur, then managed by Ange Postecoglou. He made his first start 6 days later against Sporting in the Champions League, appearing 6 times in all competitions for the first team. At the end of last season, he was named the Premier League 2 Player of the Year for the 24-25 campaign. Celtic have let 2 central defenders leave this summer in Gustav Legerbilk and Mike Norocki to Braga and Hannover 96, respectively. The former left on a permanent deal, while the latter joined his German suitors on loan. Evening Times Sport, July 30. Derek McInnes happy with Hearts squad, but hints at more movement. Report by Blair Meikle. Derek McInnes is pleased with the work that has been done to reshape the Hearts squad, but says that the makeup of it will look different still when the transfer window closes. Hearts have so far made 6 permanent signings: Christian Borchgrevink, Claudio Braga, Elton Kavangu, Alexandros Kurzeidis, Saba Kyrgiota and Wazin McEntee, while centre-back Stuart Finlay arrived on loan from Oxford United. The club are hopeful of finalising the signing of forward Pierre-Landry Cabor from Estonian side FK Trans Narva sooner rather than later, alongside Icelandic midfielder Thomas Bent Magnusson from Valur. It is the first summer window of the club's partnership with Jamestown Analytics, and most of the additions have impressed in friendlies and Premier Sports Cup games. Braga, McEntee, Finlay and Kizridis in particular have stood out. The new head coach is pleased with the recruitment that has gone on at the club, but admits he is not yet fully satisfied, hinting there will be further business before the window closes on September 1. That will likely include more outs than ins, as there is already a bloated squad. McInnes said, "Yes, got to be pleased. I think at this stage of the season, no manager, I don't think, will be fully satisfied with their work. There's still a good few weeks of the window left, and you're still trying. Once the window closes, I think the squad will still probably look a wee bit different. We had a big emphasis on trying to get wide players in. We've obviously signed a couple. One of two were a bit slow in getting here in terms of trying to get various checks and all the stuff you need to do. So from that point, there's been a bit of frustration. We've got a couple of injuries going into the Aberdeen game at the weekend. Hopefully we can get positive news on those boys. But in the sense of the squad, I think we're quite strong in most areas. Certainly, if we took ourselves 6 or 7 weeks to when we first started pre-season, I've got to be pleased with the progress that's been made. Report by Blair Meikle. Evening Times Sport, July 30. Haggy decides next club, but demands £1 million. Report by Mark Walker. Janis Hagi will sign for Legia Warsaw as long as they stump up £1 million signing on fee, according to his agent. The Romanian international is still without a team despite leaving Rangers in May after 4.5 years at the club. Legia are managed by former Romania boss Edi Iordanescu, and he wants to link up again with his former player. Hagi has reportedly turned down a move to Poland already, but the agent claiming to be representing him, Arkady Zaporojanu, has laid out the conditions for a move to Legia, a £1 million signing on fee and a salary of £600,000 a year, around £11,500 a week. He said, "The situation with Legia Warsaw and Janis is that I discussed his possible move just the other day with the owner of Legia. He just needs to put his hands in his pocket and it is solved. The sum is £1 million when he signs. I was involved in these discussions even before Edi Iordanescu was appointed as manager there. I had discussed this transfer option with the owner. I proposed a certain financial option, which the owner initially did not accept. It was about giving him a significant amount upon signing and a salary of £600,000 per year, so as not to disrupt his salary scale at the club. It can be completed at any time." Meanwhile, Russell Martin, Rangers head coach, has provided a major update on the availability of key pair Thilo Asgard and Hamza Egeman. The pair missed training in Glasgow yesterday morning and will not feature against Panathinaikos this evening. Martin confirmed that last night at a press conference in Athens. And he continued, "It's a tough game against a good opponent that we have to be ready for. We had an extremely hot week at St George's Park with the guys covering a lot of distance, so that will help us. We have to manage the game, and I think the players are ready for that. At this football club, the mentality is to win every game. The atmosphere was incredible last week. We know our support travel in amazing numbers everywhere, and we want to give them a night to remember. I hope we can have another positive." Report by Josh McCafferty. Evening Times Sport, July 30. Hundreds attend Turner Syndrome Football Festival in Glasgow. Report by Ava White. Hundreds of budding footballers gathered in Glasgow over the weekend in a landmark day for women's sport. More than 200 girls from across the west of Scotland arrived at Petershill Park in Springburn on Sunday for the annual Turner Syndrome Awareness Football Festival. For the first time, teams had the chance to play across the entire complex in North Glasgow, which allowed even more girls to take part. The event was organised by the Turner Syndrome Support Society, TSSS, in an effort to raise awareness of the rare genetic condition which is said to affect 1 in every 2,000 girls. Arlene Smith, Executive Officer of the TSSS, highlighted the importance of early diagnosis and said, "Events like these are absolutely essential in raising awareness of Turner syndrome. If a girl is not achieving expected growth or development, it is important not to ignore the signs. Early diagnosis makes a real difference. We are grateful to everyone who helped us make today possible." According to NHS Scotland, Turner syndrome (TS) is a rare genetic condition that only affects females and is usually diagnosed at birth. There is currently no cure, but treatment and support are available to help manage symptoms. It is understood that everyone with the condition is affected differently. However, it can impact growth, height, and general development. This year's football festival saw an increase of more than 50% in attendance and was described as both a significant milestone for girls' football and raising awareness of TS. Teams from Phoenix Girls travelled from Hamilton, Renfrew, West Park United, Kilmarnock and Glasgow City to take part. Gus McLean, chair of Phoenix Girls Football Club, said, "This event would not have been possible without the commitment of our partners, the Partick Thistle Charitable Trust, and the tireless work of coaches, parents and volunteers. Together we are making a real difference." Ian Stewart, Scottish Women's Premier League competitions officer, presented the medals on the day. He praised the event as a testament to the power of partnership and community. Speaking at the festival, he commented, "Festival like this simply did not exist a decade ago. It is fantastic to see hundreds of girls out playing football together, raising awareness, and showing just how far the women's game has come. Today is a testament to the power of partnership and community." The event was delivered through a partnership between the TSSS, a Clydebank-based charity, and Phoenix Girls Football Club, who built on the previous year's success with the support of the Partick Thistle Charitable Trust. It was dedicated to the memory of Emma Woods, who lived with TS and sadly died aged 20. The Emma Woods Memorial Fund, created by her friends and family, continues to raise vital funds to support awareness campaigns and initiatives such as the festival. Fraser Cromer, CEO of the Partick Thistle Charitable Trust, said, "Petershill Park is synonymous with women's football in Scotland, being home to both Glasgow City and Partick Thistle women. When we heard about the vision behind the Turner Syndrome Awareness Football Festival, we were fully committed to supporting it. Bringing communities together through football to raise awareness for such an important cause is exactly the kind of initiative we want to champion." Report by Eva White. Evening Times Sport, July 30th. Motherwell receive bids for Miller. Report by Martin Macmillan. Motherwell have received bids for talented teenager Lennon Miller. His future has been a hot topic this summer, with a move away from Fir Park expected. Clubs such as Celtic, Bologna and Udinese have been linked. Manager Jens Berthel Askew said, "There have been some bids for Lennon recently. It is something the board is working with, and it is going on in the background." There is a high probability that Lennon will move this summer, but nothing is finalised yet. For now, Lennon is still a Motherwell player, and he's doing his best to get back to full training. We will see if we see him on the pitch again or not, but we are trying our best to get him ready. Motherwell will kick off the Scottish Premiership season against Rangers this Saturday night, but it is unclear if Miller will feature in the starting 11. Meanwhile, Celtic have received a loan inquiry from Plymouth Argyle for Stephen Welsh. The EFL League One side's interest in the central defender are at an early stage, but there has been contact between the two clubs. According to Sky Sports, Celtic are considering the offer and whether or not to send the 25-year-old out to England's third tier. Welsh spent the second half of last season on loan at KV Mechelen in Belgium's top flight and impressed across his 17 appearances. He has had interest from Belgium as a result, but Plymouth have now thrown their hat into the ring. Argyle were relegated from the English Championship last season and are looking to recruit at centre-back after former Rangers star Nikola Katic moved on after his loan spell, and Maxim Talaverov signed for Stoke City. They currently have Brendan Galloway, Victor Paulson, Julio Pleguezuelo and Cornel Sukes. Welsh's contract to Celtic until May 27, but could move off in search of regular football, with Callum Carter-Vickers, Liam Scales and Austin Trusty preferred. The Parkhead club could add another in that area and are looking to loan in Manchester City's Jamai Simpson-Pusey. Report by Blair Meikle. Evening Times Sport, July 30. Mikey Moore to Rangers update. Report by Blair Meikle. Rangers are hopeful of tying up a loan deal for Tottenham's Mikey Moore before the week is out. The 17-year-old wing sensation is an Ibrox target, and they have been placed as favourites to land him ahead of English Championship clubs, with the player said to be keen on playing in Europe. Spurs boss Thomas Frank appeared to open the door for a loan exit when he admitted Moore would benefit from playing more regular football, and it looks like Rangers are edging closer to getting a deal done. Transfer expert Fabrizio Romano claims they are confident of having the teenage winger in the door before the end of this week. It will be a season-long loan, with no option to buy included. Rangers are said to be covering Moore's full wage. He wrote on social media, Rangers are optimistic to seal all details of Mikey Moore loan deal this week. No buy option, straight loan until June 2026, with salary covered, as Spurs are set to give final green light soon. Moore keen on joining Rangers project. Meanwhile, Rangers have accepted a six-figure transfer bid for out-of-favour defender Ben Davies. The 29-year-old spent last season on loan at Birmingham City. The centre-back played a major role in helping the Blues storm League One to reach promotion back to the Championship. Russell Martin is keen to free up space in his first team so that he's able to have more scope to strengthen, and Davies is one player on the fringes at Ibrox who will likely move on. According to the Lancashire Post, it appears Davies is heading back to St Andrews. It is claimed that Birmingham have agreed a fee of around £750,000 with Rangers for the former Liverpool, Sheffield United and Preston North End player. Davis only has a year to run on his Rangers contract, having joined in 2022 under Giovanni van Bronckhorst. Report by Ewan Payton. Evening Times Sport, July 30. Ross County chairman sells 3 firms to Japanese company. Report by Scott Wright. The chairman of Ross County Football Club has sold off a significant chunk of his Highland business empire. Roy McGregor's Global Energy Group, GEG, has struck a deal to offload 3 of its companies to Mitsui, the Japanese general trading giant. The Port of Nig, the multi-sector energy facility and green freeport. Global Energy Fabrication, a multi-site fabricated and manufacturing business, and Global Energy Services, a provider of scaffold and access teams, have been taken over by Mitsui and Company Europe, a subsidiary of Mitsui and Company, together with Mitsui OSK Lines, MOL. The value of the deal was not disclosed, but it represents Mitsui's first big investment in a major Scottish ports facility, which will pave the way for significant new investment at Nig, supporting long-term skilled employment and economic growth in the Highlands. Mitsui has been an investor in McGregor's GEG holding since 2012, when it acquired a 25.5% stake, and has since been a valued shareholder and strategic partner in its growth. Mitsui will own 51% and MOL 49% of the 3 companies further to the acquisition. Following the divestment of the 3 business units, GEG Holding, operating as Global Energy Group, will continue to offer services at the Port of Nig through its supply chain companies, Global Port Services, Global Crane Services, and Global Wind Projects, and supply labour on a project-by-project basis. Apollo, the Aberdeen-headquartered energy engineering company, also remains part of the Global Energy Group portfolio. GEG Holding will retain the rights to the Global Energy Group name and continue to operate its businesses from locations such as the Port of Nig and Invergordon Port Facility. It will retain its offices in Inverness, Aberdeen and Edinburgh. McGregor said, "We are hugely proud to be passing on the baton at the Port of Nig, having spent much of the last decade establishing it as a truly world-class multi-energy facility. Having worked closely with our trusted investor, Mitsui, since 2012, we believe the time is right to let them drive the next stage of development at Nig, and we believe they are the correct custodian for a facility that provides so much employment and prosperity for the Highlands." Evening Times Sport, July 31. David Martindale on why he owes Chris Sutton and the SPFL apologies. Report by Matthew Lindsay. Predicting the outcome of the opening weekend's fixtures is, after a frantic summer of incomings and outgoings at every club, always a notoriously difficult business. Who will come out on top when Hearts host Aberdeen at Tynecastle in the William Hill Premiership? Who will prevail when Dundee face Hibs at Dens Park? It is impossible to say what will happen at the start of a new season. David Martindale, though, is absolutely certain about one thing ahead of Livingston's first league encounter of the 25-26 campaign against Kilmarnock at Rugby Park on Saturday afternoon. "We are going to be the last on Sportscene," he said, at the Set Fair Arena during a break from the promoted West Lothian club's preparations for the challenging trip through to Ayrshire. "You'll generally get a 2 or 3 minute clip of us." Martindale accepts that the size of his side's fan base, they had an average attendance of just 3,582 the last time they were in the top flight, means that bigger clubs are always going to receive more airtime on BBC Scotland's football highlights programme. However, he also believes that misconceptions about their style of play have been partially responsible for them being cast in a supporting role to their larger and better supporter domestic rivals in the past. He is keen to change that this term, and confident his men can surprise a few people in the coming 10 months. He said, "I think there was a lazy narrative with us previously. Big, strong, physical Livingston. It was lazy when you take into consideration how well we had played and what we had done. Yes, we were probably, during our last year in the Premiership, a wee bit more 10 bodies behind the ball, play a wee bit more direct, hit the space in behind. But we play a different shape to what we played in the last couple of years in the Premiership. I don't want to waste a year's coaching. We actually want teams to come and press us now, so we want teams to come and give us that space in behind. The ideals have changed slightly, but you've still got to find a way to win that game of football. I'll be doing that every Saturday, but sticking to the basic fundamentals that we played last year and the basic fundamentals that we coached last year. I think it is essential that we do not deviate from that too far. Are we better for the experience of promotion? I think we are. I think you'll still see a lot of traits of what you've seen at Livingston previously, but hopefully you're going to see attacking football." Martindale stressed that he'll have no qualms about Livingston throwing caution to the wind and taking the game to Celtic at Parkhead or Hibs at Easter Road in the season ahead if he feels it will increase their prospects of recording a result. And he said, "Believe it or not, I've never been short of confidence. In football, I've never felt unconfident. I've always felt confident in any environment I've been in as a coach or as a player. You can put me on the Broxburn Juniors Park or put me at Ibrox. It doesn't really faze me either way." Martindale, who has brought in no fewer than 9 new players during the close season, and who added a Congolese international striker, Jeremy Bokila, to his squad, has never been shy when it comes to defending Livingston. He has hit back at criticism of both their style of play and their artificial pitch in the past. But the laying of a new surface at Avondale earlier this month has forced him to re-evaluate his previous comments, and he extended an olive branch to both outspoken Sky Sports pundit Chris Sutton and the SPFL as he looked ahead to the Kilmarnock encounter on Saturday. "I'll be honest, I probably owe certain parts of the media an apology for the last 2 years," he said. "I'll explain why. Because I was at the club when our pitch got put down, I have probably not seen the deterioration in the park. I probably had a wee bit of a go at the SPFL at the tail end of last year by saying, I can't believe they're telling us We're not getting any Premiership at that park. Now that we've got a new surface, because of the restrictions imposed on us and forced on us, I actually need to apologise because I was wrong. Did I still think the park we had last year was better than some grass parks I've played on? 100%. Some grass parks last year were diabolical, dismal. But can I see the journalists and media gripes about it previously? Yes. I am hoping that the bigger teams which come here are going to see an improvement in the surface. They're going to find an adequate surface. There's a bit more speed on the park. It probably changes how we are going to play. I genuinely believed our surface was okay in the last couple of years. Looking back now, I think I was wrong with that assertion. I think I owe the SPFL an apology. Chief Executive Neil Doncaster and Director of Football Operations Callum Beattie, probably. I owe certain media pundits a wee bit of apology. I think Chris Sutton had a wee bit of a go about the park, and I maybe had a go back at him. Do you know what? I agree with him now. Report by Matthew Lindsay. Evening Times Sport, July 31. Celtic's Broom pursuit boosted with new price demand. Report by Martin McMillan. A Dutch club has reportedly told Celtic they will not sell Jacob Broom for less than £5 million. The go-ahead Eagles winger has been on the Scottish champions' radar, with the Eredivisie side initially demanding £6.5 million. However, it is now claimed a £5 million bid would be enough to secure Broom's services. This reduced fee is due to a 25% sell-on clause owed to his former club Odense. The report suggests Celtic could wait until next summer, when Broom's price is expected to drop to £2 million. This fits with the offers Celtic have previously had rejected for the Denmark under-21 international. The Hoops have made 3 unsuccessful bids, with their highest bid of £1.5 million swiftly dismissed. It is said that Celtic are reluctant to meet the go-ahead Eagles' current asking price of £5 million. Meanwhile, Celtic's potential opponents in the Champions League playoff have been revealed. The Parkhead club enter the playoff round of the competition later next month. Victory in the playoff round would see Celtic advance to the league phase of the Champions League. Celtic are a seeded club for the playoff round, in theory meaning an easier draw. They will avoid Bodo Glimt, Copenhagen, Ferencváros and Red Star Belgrade, who are also seeded for the draw. Possible opponents for Celtic include Basel, Sturm Graz, Paphos or Dynamo Kiev, Slovan Bratislava or Herat, Qarabag or Skandia. The draw will take place next Monday. Evening Times Sport, July 31. Victoria Pilsen launch appeal over horror schedule before Rangers clash. Report by Mark Walker. Victoria Pilsen will make a plea to Czech football chiefs to postpone their league game at the weekend, ahead of their Champions League showdown with Rangers. And boss Miroslav Klubek revealed he banned his players from having a beer to celebrate their comeback win in Switzerland. Rangers face the Czechs on Tuesday at Ibrox, after they held out for a 1-1 draw in Greece against Panathinaikos, and Victoria completed a 3-1 victory at Servette, despite losing their first leg at home. But Victoria are furious at their grueling schedule ahead of the game. They flew to Prague yesterday and have to fly to Mlada Boleslav today, ahead of their game on Saturday at 5 p.m, before returning to Pilsen ahead of a flight to Glasgow on Monday. And they are exploring the possibility of a late call-off after Quebec slammed their fixture list. He said, "The players are euphoric, but our schedule is a killer. I don't know if I should even unpack my bags. There's no time for anything, not even to study Rangers." Some associations make it easier for clubs and postpone their league round at such a moment. With us, it is automatic only in the case of the playoffs. We will certainly be asking the question, and I would welcome some help from the Czech football authorities. It is extremely complicated for us now. We don't meet the requirement set by FIFA that players have 72 hours of rest between matches. We now finish at midnight on Wednesday night and are supposed to play at 5 p.m. on Saturday. We fly home on Thursday. We will leave for Mlada Boleslav on Friday. We will be home on Sunday, and we will fly again on Monday. The players wanted to celebrate, but I told them they were not even allowed a single beer. I ordered them to go straight to bed. Victoria star Lukas Serb praised his side's commitment after their win in Geneva and said, "Everyone, down to the last member of the support staff, gave absolutely everything. They scored after 2 minutes, but we did not panic, and we knew we would create chances. It was a struggle, but we deserved to go through over the 2 legs, and now we have to concentrate on playing Rangers." Report by Mark Walker. Evening Times Sport, July 31. Blair Kinghorn handed Lions start. Blair Kinghorn and James Ryan will make their first starts of the British and Irish Lions series against Australia, but Andy Farrell has otherwise turned to his established Test starters to complete the whitewash. Kinghorn replaces James Lowe on the left wing for Saturday's climax to the tour at Sydney's Accor Stadium, while Ryan comes in for Ollie Chesham in the second row. Chesham drops to the bench where head coach Farrell has opted for a 6-2 split between forwards and backs, with Ben Errol returning as back row cover after being left out for the second test. The starting 15 is made up of 9 players from Ireland, 3 Englishmen and 3 Scots, with Maro Itoje captaining the bid to become the first Lions team to record an unbeaten record on tour since 1974. A series triumph was sealed by last weekend's 29-26 victory in Melbourne, but Farrell's men are determined to rout the Wallabies. Said Farrell, "We have put ourselves in a great position to finish this tour with our best performance to date and create our own piece of history. The second test was an incredible spectacle and illustrated how special Lions tours are and what they mean to both the players and the supporters. We are expecting another epic battle this week against a Wallaby side that showed their quality last week." Kinghorn and Ryan made their first appearances of the series as second-half replacements at Melbourne Cricket Ground. A change on the wing was expected after Lowe disappointed in the first and second tests, while Kinghorn made an impact for the 20 minutes he was on the field and will resume in the back 3 alongside Hugo Keenan and Tommy Freeman. Ryan was also an influential reinforcement in Melbourne, overshadowing the less effective Chesham. The Lions made it clear they would field their strongest possible 15, rather than rotating in deserving squad players, and they have been true to their word by going for the jugular in Sydney Olympic Park. That includes retaining full-throttle flankers Tad Byrne and Tom Curry, who emptied the tanks at the MCG, but have been magnificent so far in the series. Joe McCarthy, Sean Tuipulotu and Mac Hansen had been cleared to take part after recovering from injuries that forced them to miss the second test, but none of them are involved. Prop Tad Furlong will start his 9th successive Lions test, becoming only the 7th player in history to reach that mark. Evening Times Sport, August 1. Green Brigade to honour Celtic legends with double tifo display. Report by Martin McMillan. The Green Brigade have announced plans for a double tifo display this Sunday. Celtic will face St Mirren at Parkhead, marking the start of the new season. The Ultras group said the pre- and mid-match displays are an honour to club legends John Clark and John Fallon. A statement on X read, "As we unfurl the league flag on Sunday, as a celebration of last season's triumph and a statement of intent for the coming season, the memory of two Celtic giants will be at the forefront. The pre-match tifo will cover the Lisbon Lions stand, while the second will be in the North Curve stand at the start of the second half. The fan group have asked those in the North Curve to keep the material from the first display to be used in the second." The statement continued, "As always, we thank all fans for their cooperation and for helping to mark special moments for our legends, their families, our club, and the fans. Kick-off is at 4:30 p.m. on Sunday." Meanwhile, Celtic legend Paul McStay will unfurl the league flag. He will take the pitch before the match as the new season begins. Celtic finished the 24-25 campaign with a 1-1 draw against St Mirren, but manager Brendan Rodgers will be hoping for a better result this time. McStay, who made nearly 700 appearances for the club, will follow in the footsteps of last year's flag bearers, Lisbon Lion Jim Craig and James Forrest the year before. Brendan Rodgers said, "Paul was a great player. He always gave you hope watching Celtic. You always felt that, in those tough times when Celtic maybe suffered a bit, he could produce that moment of magic. He was a brilliant player, a really humble guy, and I have been fortunate enough to have met him. That was a real privilege and a real honour for me. He will get an incredible reception, and it will be amazing to see him again." Report by Martin McMillan. Evening Times Sport, August 1. David Martindale opens up on strain of Livingston's court cases. Report by Matthew Lindsay. David Martindale has partially attributed Livingston's relegation from the Premiership 2 seasons ago to the off-field legal battles that he got embroiled in, and predicted that losing autonomy at the Set Fair Stadium will help him to keep his side up in the top flight in the coming months. Martindale, who led the West Lothian outfit to promotion out of the Championship via a dramatic playoff final victory over Ross County last term, was delighted when American businessman Calvin Ford finally completed his protracted takeover after months of behind-the-scenes wrangling back in May. He felt that he was unable to devote the time that he needed to coaching, before the change of ownership, and is now hopeful that having Ford, the great-great-grandson of Ford Motor Company founder Henry, at the helm, will enable him to focus solely on football in the coming months and secure survival. Speaking as he looked ahead to Livingston's opening William Hill Premiership game of the new season against Kilmarnock at Rugby Park tomorrow, he said, "I'm still going to help out with other bits and bobs around the club, but I'm not bogged down in the middle of court cases with being one of the main witnesses like I was before. Going to your bed at night, I was constantly thinking about phone calls. You would be on your way home, you'd be getting phone calls from your lawyers, you would be opening up emails and speaking about stuff. That was a constant. Looking back, that was 3.5, 4 years. It was so draining. I was trying to focus on the game, but you're constantly thinking about what if, with court cases. I just feel that there's a wee bit of a chain being lifted around the neck of the football club now that all of that is done and dusted. With Calvin and a new board at the football club, it's such a better work environment. It's such a better place to be mentally. There's always been a good culture within the building, but just mentally, it's better. There is a huge workload being taken away from me, and I am extremely comfortable with that. Head of Football Operations Brian Rice is now predominantly dealing with recruitment when the windows open. He's helped me massively with that. Before, it was myself dealing with that. Calvin coming in, a new board coming in, has allowed us to get a better infrastructure outside the footballing department, which has really helped the footballing department. Now we probably have the basic structure that we need going forward. We are in a good place. I think I got good at dealing with this and dealing with that. I would compartmentalize it and store it away. Unfortunately, it was a lot of the stuff within the court cases I knew about because I was the one constant in the building. I was here pre, during and post, so a lot of it fell to me. But I could not have been giving the best of myself as a manager. That definitely had a negative impact on the team. There were failings on my part as well, but you were keen to do what's right for the football club. I've always done that. If we had not done what was right for the football club over the last 2 or 3 years, there would not be a football club. So all those battles 2 or 3 years ago were well worth it. The club is in the best place it has ever been in my tenure, and hopefully I can deliver the goods on the park. Martindale has vowed to keep faith with the players who clinched promotion last season during the 25-26 campaign, but he has strengthened his squad extensively during the summer with the help of Rice, and he is optimistic the new acquisitions will help Livingston to avoid dropping straight back down to the second tier. And he said, "One of the first conversations that I had with the board when I came in was about receiving help upstairs with recruitment. We are probably still a good bit behind other clubs, but between myself and Chipper, we'll get a lot more decisions right. I think good recruitment is probably 50% plus of the battle. You're going to make mistakes, you're going to get decisions wrong, and you can only play 11 players at any one point. So recruitment plays a huge part in the success of the football club. Look at some of the bigger clubs over the years. Look at Manchester United and look at their recruitment. They have spent billions of pounds. So it's not always down to finance. It comes down to skill set, experience, and eyes, and that's what Chipper's got. Report by Matthew Lindsay. Evening Times Sport, August 1. Mikey Moore reveals Rangers family link. Report by David Irvin. Mikey Moore has insisted his decision to join Rangers was an easy one, as he revealed a family connection to the club. The Tottenham Hotspur wonder kid signed a season-long loan switch to Ibrox, opting to move to Govan over significant interest elsewhere. Moore's move is still subject to clearance, which is expected to be a delayed process due to the player still being under 18, so a debut will not be immediate. After signing his deal, Moore revealed his family has held a long-term affinity for Rangers, and he told the club media, "I'm excited to get going. As soon as I heard Rangers were interested and wanted me to come, it was a massive opportunity for me. I am excited to be here, and hopefully I can show the fans and everyone what I can do. I've always loved Rangers as a club. My family have always loved them. I think with the new boss and the way that we play, it's a great place to be at the minute. It was a pretty easy decision for me to come here." Moore also spoke with former coach at Spurs, Jermaine Defoe, before heading to Ibrox, and after a short conversation, he was convinced of a move to Glasgow. He added, "As soon as Rangers came in, I spoke to Jermaine, who had a bit of a spell up here, and he absolutely loved it. As soon as I called him, he said, 'If you have got an opportunity to go to Rangers, you take that.' When I first heard, I thought the exact same thing, so speaking to him was massive for me. He only said good things about the club and the people." Report by David Irvin. Evening Times Sport, August 1. Key Victoria Pilsen midfielder ruled out against Rangers. Report by David Irvin. Victoria Pilsen will be without key midfielder Adrian Zelkovic for their trip to Ibrox to face Rangers in Champions League qualifying. The Czech club will not be able to call on the 22-year-old Slovenian international for the first leg of their crucial third qualifying round tie. Zelkovic has been ruled out of the match after being shown a straight red card in the victory over Servette. The midfielder was ordered off by referee in just the 66th minute of the 3-2 victory in Switzerland on Wednesday evening. He will serve a one-match suspension in the first leg next Tuesday against Rangers, but should be back in contention for the second leg at home on Tuesday, August 12. Zelkovic was immediately sent off by Spanish official Ruiz after a lunging tackle just inside the Servette half. The defensive midfielder caught Servette's Bradley Mazikou with a late challenge, leaving his opponent sprawling on the ground. A red card was issued promptly by the referee, with no VAR intervention, as the decision was supported by officials watching on the monitor. Meanwhile, Victoria Pilsen's game against Mlada Boleslav this weekend has been postponed as they prepare to face Rangers. The Czech side launched an appeal to the country's football chiefs, given that they would be facing Boleslav this Saturday, and then travelling to face Russell Martin's men at Ibrox just 72 hours later. They have since learned the outcome of that appeal. Club spokesman Vaclav Henslik said, "Due to Tuesday's match in Glasgow and the associated travel, we asked a postponement of Saturday's match. We greatly appreciate that both sides agreed, and we can now fully concentrate on the very important match of the third qualifying round of the Champions League, which is important due to the coefficient for all of Czech football. Report by David Irvin. Evening Times Sport, August 1. Rangers secure Tottenham's Mikey Moore on loan deal. Report by Martin McMillan. Rangers have snapped up Tottenham Hotspur's Mikey Moore on a season-long loan. The wonder kid forward, who is only 17, has joined Russell Martin's squad for the 25-26 season. This loan deal is, however, subject to transfer clearance. As Moore is under 18, the proceedings are expected to take a bit longer to formally finalise before he can make his Rangers debut. Despite this, Rangers managed to fend off considerable interest from other clubs to secure Moore's temporary move to Ibrox. Upon signing for Rangers, Moore said, "I'm excited to get going. As soon as I heard Rangers were interested and wanted me to come, it was a massive opportunity for me. I am excited to be here, and hopefully I can show the fans and everyone what I can do. I've always loved Rangers as a club. My family have always loved them. I think with the new boss and the way that we play, it's a great place to be at the minute. It was a pretty easy decision for me to come here." Head coach Russell Martin added, "We are thrilled to bring Mikey on loan for this season. His profile as a brave, aggressive attacking player is one that we were keen to add to the squad, and he is certainly a player who, despite his age, can make an impact on the team from day one. He is a player with huge potential, and it is testament to his quality that he has been entrusted by Spurs in both the Premier League and UEFA Europa League with such regularity after over the last 18 months. Sporting director Kevin Thelwell added, "It is no secret that there were significant interest from elsewhere in Mikey, and we are delighted that he has chosen Rangers at this stage in his career. We are convinced that he is a player who will enhance our attacking unit. He is stepping into an ambitious, demanding environment that will test him, support him, and provide the platform to deliver and fulfill his potential." Meanwhile, the Union Bears have sent a message to Rangers fans ahead of Motherwell clash, and they have urged all to wear blue for Russell Martin's first league game in charge. The 39-year-old manager led his team to a 3-1 aggregate victory over Panathinaikos, securing a spot in the third round of Champions League qualifying. The Ibrox club drew 1-1 in Athens on Wednesday, having previously won 2-0 in Govan 8 days earlier. The attention now shifts to the Scottish Premiership, where Rangers will face Motherwell at Fir Park on Saturday night with a kick-off scheduled for 5:30 p.m. The Union Bears, Rangers Ultras group, have urged supporters to wear blue for the clash against the Steelmen. Fullback Max Aarons, who played in the victory over Panathinaikos, expressed his enthusiasm for the domestic league and said, "Of course it's going to be different in the league, but that confidence and robustness that you build from playing game in, game out is what you want. You don't want to be waiting a week or 10 days for your next game. It is important that we all recover as well as possible, so that come Saturday we can start the league season with a big win. It's a big game, and we have to take care of that now. This confidence coming here to Panathinaikos, that is not an easy game, and we took that and now take it into the league where I believe we can beat anyone. Report by Martin Macmillan.
From the Glasgow Times, Monday the 4th of August 2025, from the sports section. Ibrox duo to miss Rangers' crucial Victoria Plitzing clash. Article written by Martin Macmillan. Fellow Asgard and Hamza Egerman are set to miss Rangers' crucial Champions League clash against Victoria Plitzing. The players have been sidelined due to injuries for the first leg of the third qualifying round tie against the Czech team. Asgard has not yet made his competitive debut for the club, having been ruled out following a pre-season injury. Egerman, who played in the first leg against Panathinaikos, is recovering from a minor injury. Rangers manager Martin confirmed the player's absence ahead of tomorrow evening's match. He said, "Delo and Hamza won't make it in time for tomorrow evening. Martin previously praised Asgard's potential, saying, "He has been everything we thought we were getting and more. Since he has been in, he has been incredible. His understanding, his athleticism, the power he has, the technical capability, he really is an exciting player for us." However, he acknowledged the challenges of pre-season, adding, "Unfortunately, it is a different level of intensity, and there has been high demands in pre-season. He has picked up a little something, so he's going to be touch and go. We hope he can be involved, but if not, then we're really hopeful he will be ready and raring to go for the second one." Discussing Egerman's condition last month, Martin said, "He picked up a little bit of an injury on Tuesday night. He's not going to be out for a long time." That article was written by Martin Macmillan and read by E. McKenna. From the Glasgow Times, Monday the 4th of August, Sport. Luke McGowan vows Celtic are ready for Champions League test. Article written by Graham McGarry. Luke McGowan has vowed that Celtic will be ready for their Champions League qualifier against either Kairat Almaty or Slovan Bratislava, as they look to prove they belong in the league phase of the competition. The Scottish champions found out their potential opponents in the draw in Nyon earlier today, and will play the first leg of the tie at home in the midweek of 19th or 20th of August, before the return tie a week later on the midweek of August 26th-27th, with the exact dates and kick-off times yet to be confirmed. Celtic hammered Slovan Bratislava by 5-1 in the opening match of last season's group phase, the start of a largely impressive showing in the competition by Brendan Rodgers' men last term. Despite some misgivings from supporters around the strength of the squad and the lack of summer business to date, this time around, McCowan, who bagged a late winner in Sunday's Premiership opener against St Mirren, is convinced that his side will be more than prepared to show they can have another successful season in Europe's top competition. "I'm sure we will be," McCowan said. "I mean, if you were to ask us if we played it this midweek, I'm sure we'd all be ready. So it makes no difference being in 2 weeks. If anything, I think we'll be more prepared. It's brilliant. The qualifiers are what you want to do. Obviously, it would be easier if you're just going straight into it. But when those games come around, it's about embracing it and knowing what the challenge is going to be. You're coming up against opponents that aren't from here, and I'm sure the boys are up for it. I think we showed that we belong in the league phase last year. It's about proving it again. There's always a demand for more at this club. The more games under our belt within the season, the quicker we'll get up to speed, and the performance levels will hopefully get us points on the board throughout the Champions League phases and the qualifiers, so we just need to keep performing well. It's an old cliche, but Aberdeen next Sunday again, you hit that with a good performance, then you go into the qualifiers feeling ready, filling up to scratch, and you want to go into them as positive as you can. Celtic will be strongly fancies to progress through to the qualifying tie, with the players more than aware that crashing out of the Champions League at this stage would be viewed as a disaster for the club. But McCowan is confident they can handle that pressure. "These players play under massive pressure all the time," he said. "I keep repeating it, but it's what playing at this club takes. You need to be ready for that pressure. You need to have your chest out, your head high, and go and show that you're a Celtic player. That's what it demands, and that's what a manager wants. Pressures, in a game hopefully bring out your best qualities. McCowan was delighted that his strike against a stuffy and well organised St Mirren outfit at the weekend helped Celtic avoid getting their season off on a bum note, and he hopes that the performance level, as well as the win, will keep the momentum and the feel-good factor flowing going into a crucial part of the club's season, even in these early knockings of the campaign. Your performance levels are always the things you look at the most, he said. Even if you came away from that game 0-0, you know your performance level was good. You know you created so many chances in the game. But the thing that you come away from after the game with a good performance is the 3 points, and the boys are chuffed with that. It's just one of those ones. You want to create energy. You want to create positivity when you're coming off the bench, and I think at the point we made the changes, they probably needed it. Some fresh legs, stuff like that. So that's what the squad's there for. It feels good. Good to start the season off with a win. It's always important to get off to a good start. It's what you're here to do. You're here to score goals and help the team win the games. I thought the performance was brilliant. We had a ton of chances. We had enough chances to go and win probably 2 football matches. Really unlucky with a few hitting the post. Obviously a goal chopped off as well. Listen, on another day, you'd probably come away scoring 2 or 3, maybe more. But at the end of the day, it's 3 points, and that's what we're glad with. You have a good pre-season. You worked really hard, obviously away in different countries and whatever, getting your fitness levels high. It's about coming into the game on Sunday and implementing that, and let that carry on throughout the games to come. You've got Champions League qualifiers to come, and it's just about the next step, the next game, the next performance. The boys know that, and it's just about staying level-headed with that. There's always more to come. There's always a demand for more here. You should come away winning 5 and 6-0 in games, and you probably think it should be 7 or 8. It's just what this club demands. I'm sure through each game, the performances will get better, and even if there are disappointments, it's how we react to that, and I'm sure we'll do just that. That article was written by Graham McGarry. From the Glasgow Times, Monday the 4th of August 2025, from the sports section. Oliver Antman could make Rangers' debut v Victoria Plitzen. Article written by Martin McMillan. New signing Oliver Antman could make his Rangers debut tomorrow, Tuesday. The 23-year-old winger was officially announced as an Ibrox player this afternoon after signing a 4-year deal with the club. He joined from Eredivisie's side Go Ahead Eagles for a fee of £3 million, which could rise to £4 million. Antman becomes Russell Martin's 9th signing of the summer. Providing an update on his squad ahead of tomorrow night's Champions League qualifier against Victoria Plitzen, Martin said, Thelo, Asgard and Hamza Igamain won't make it in time for tomorrow evening. Hopefully, Antman will be registered in time, but we need to wait and see. Rangers will need to register their squad for the match by 11 PM this evening. The first leg of the third round UEFA Champions League qualifier takes place at Ibrox tomorrow evening on Tuesday, August the 5th at 7:45 PM. That article was written by Martin McMillan. From the Glasgow Times, Monday the 4th of August 2025, sports section. St Mirren motivated by pre-season predictions of struggle. Article written by Graham McGarry. Pre-season predictions can often come back to bite those working in the media, and it seems that Mark O'Hara is definitely keeping the receipts. The St Mirren captain has noted that, once again, his side don't seem to be featured too heavily among the teams fancied to be competing in the top half of the table come the end of the campaign, despite being the only team outside of Celtic and Rangers to make the top 6 in each of the last 3 seasons. But that suits O'Hara and his teammates just fine. A battling showing in the Premiership opener at Celtic Park may have ended with the heartbreaking concession of a late goal, but there was more than enough in their performance to suggest that Stephen Robinson and his men will be a force to be reckoned with once more this season, no matter what anyone else may think. Since I've been here, a lot of people wrote us off most seasons, O'Hara said. I've seen a lot of predictions this week, top 6 and things like that, from the media and out with that, and I've noticed we're not in that. That suits us to come as the underdogs again this year, and we can just go quietly about our business. The foundation for O'Hara's confidence comes from the work that his manager and the club's recruitment team have done over the close season, with new arrivals like goalkeeper Shamal George, Jayden Richardson, Richard King, Tumisi Sobale, Roland Idowu, all showing up well in the narrow defeat at Celtic Park. It's been a really exciting summer, he said. We brought in a lot of players, and there's a freshness to it this year that maybe there hasn't been in previous years. Although there is the core squad, which I think you do need as well, the continuity and the know-how from the boys that have been there, but there's definitely a freshness this year, and I'm sure we're going to be exciting to watch. It will take time for some of the new players to understand what the manager wants and how he works. There is a set way. I think when new boys come into the team, they will be surprised at the culture and how hard everyone works and how together everyone is. We've added boys that have got good character, and they're going to learn and understand that. They're definitely pushing the boat forward. And O'Hara had particular praise for former Ross County keeper George. He obviously gives us confidence, he said. He collects the ball well and his kicking's good. That was obviously the first real test he's had, and I thought he was excellent. I'm sure he's going to be a massive player for us. Ever since I've been here, the goalkeepers have been such a key part in why we've achieved top 6 the last 3 years. To add the quality of Shamal is going to be massive for us again, and I'm sure he is up for the task. O'Hara was obviously disappointed by the manner of the late deflected goal that St Mirren conceded, to ensure they had nothing material to show for what was a huge effort against the champions, but he is certain that the feeling won't linger, as he and his teammates gear up for the visit of Motherwell to Paisley this weekend. In terms of effort, we put a lot into that, he said. You know you're going to need to concentrate for the full 96 to 97 minutes, and not get over the line. Everybody's really disappointed. People outside ourselves don't really give us a chance going to Celtic Park, but we saw it as a good chance to cause an upset on the opening day. Although there are positives to take and we will look forward to next week, we are disappointed. Especially because everyone has done their jobs, and the deflection, I don't think you do much about it at times. That article was written by Graham McGarry and read by Ian McKenna.
That concludes this week's edition of the Glasgow Times Sports Podcast. Please remember to subscribe to our channels at Q and Review, and to tell your friends about our service